welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the ESL Pro League, and it's time for our first map of the night here on Nuke between two teams fighting for a playoff spot over the next few weeks here. It's going to be Team Liquid, now armed with a new possible fifth player that we'll see in the future. It's going to be Twist stepping in for them from the Misfits roster, and they'll be going up against OpTic, who still, I believe, have Jason R playing as the fifth here tonight. So let's talk about Twist a little bit here. What's your general thoughts on Twist? Is this a good pickup? I mean, very skilled players you've seen over the past 2 weeks.
I think it's as good of a pickup that is available. To say he's a very, very top-level player right now, I think would be an overstatement. But it's something that he has the talent to become. He doesn't have the experience, though. Yeah. And we'll see. He needs to develop a bit more of a assertive personality when it comes to in-game and going for frags when it's his time to go for frags and when it's his time to strike. We'll see what his role is, though. On Misfits, he was basically like a hard lurk. And my problem with him on Misfits was that on his T side, very often he was just last alive in like a 1-on-4. Where if you're like a hard lurk, that shouldn't happen that often. What should happen is if you're lurking and there's a potential for you to just be in a 1v4 and be out of the play, you have to recognize that there's a good possibility that that happens and be more assertive and try to win the round before it becomes to that state, right? Try to get aggressive, even if you're not favored to win the gun battle necessarily, but you still go for it because that's the only way you could actually win the round. So we'll see what role he is in with Liquid. I think if he is in that lurk role, he's going to have to become more assertive, become more aggressive. But as far as like mechanically speaking, left to right aim, guy is incredible when it comes to winning gun battles and duels and things like that. I just worry a little bit that Liquid might have that, you know, hovering type personality between too many other players. No Stewie 2K there to just run in through a smoke and yeah, he's probably going to die, but you know what? Stewie doesn't care. He's just going to do it because it's going to create space for everyone else. That's what I worry a little bit about with this Liquid team.
And now, as we kind of look at the leadership role here a little bit, obviously Stan now crossing over onto the Liquid side for anybody that's been out of the loop for the past couple of months here now. That has to give, on a map like Nuke, that has to give Liquid a pretty clear advantage, right?
Well, we saw OpTic play Nuke last night, and they looked fantastic. The rotates were really on point. I mean, we'll see. I don't think either team really has an advantage roster-wise because Liquid probably hasn't been too well practiced with twists on this map. I would doubt if they have been. And OpTic, you know, they looked pretty good on Nuke. They had a couple executes that I was very impressed with in such a short time period of playing. I think this is anybody's game. I don't think you might give a slight edge to Liquid, but I don't think it's too big of an edge. I think it's anybody's ball game here. But the thing about Stan is the way he's going to call on Liquid, we'll probably see a similar type of strategy that he called on OpTic, right? But the players are a lot different. The Liquid players, I don't think they have like those very assertive, we'll just get a Tech 9 and just fully buy into the strat like a lot of the OpTic players, to be honest. The OpTic players, 1 through 5, when Stan was on their team, would all, if they do a Tech 9 armor strat, are not afraid to sacrifice their life for the team. You know, to jump through a smoke, probably die. But you know what? Yeah, maybe 2 of you die, but then all of a sudden Mixwell and Rush or whatever, whoever's alive is going to trade that kill and be put in a 3v3 in a manageable situation, right, where they actually can win a round. Liquid, I worry that maybe he calls a strat like that and maybe 3 people buy in, and they kind of go, and then 2 people kind of wuss out a little bit, and then they're not there to like trade the frag. Something like that might happen. That's the thing I worry about with Liquid. If that doesn't happen, and guys can kind of get out of their comfort zone, they could play more for the team. They could understand that, hey, I might die, but my death probably won't be in vain because my teammates are going to back me up. And I think this team could go very, very far because talent-wise, they're like pretty insane.
Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the match is live, so let's get into it. OpTic Gaming starting off on the T side with Team Liquid jumping onto the defense. And to start things off, let's take a look at where OpTic is going to send their players to right at the beginning of this round. We can already see Mixwell wrapping around the check towards outside. Quite a few more heading into the T lobby way with 1 position up on the roof above the lobby there. For right now, though, it's just posting up, watching out for aggression in the event that Liquid threw their own players out at the OpTic lobby. If they don't decide to do that for the most part, Liquid are holding in a fairly standard pattern themselves for the time being as they wait to see what OpTic is going to throw at them. We do see a little bit of action going on now, though, after some delay, and the timing on it actually works out. At first glance, great for Liquid, but it bounces back horribly as OpTic hit not 1, but 4 and 5 kills, trading it back. And off of that, they clean up this pistol and take fast control to start off the map.
Yeah, 0 kits on Liquid, so they decide to push up kind of mid-round, not even anything too early. Nitro had a free kill in the back that he actually missed, but it didn't, and it ended up hurting them a lot. If he was able to get that kill, maybe it alleviates the pressure from ramp. One of the ramp guys looks towards hut, and then it goes down like that. But OpTic, they win the round pretty clean. They're able to keep even Smoke and Molotov on NAF, and Jason R's nades as well.
And OpTic now just going to take fast outside control, not even smoking it off, just going right for Secret this time. And Team Liquid, unfortunately, not able to do much to resist that. Stam was found early on, pushed back behind the box alleyway, and taken down pretty quickly afterwards. Mixwell even finds Elise trying to push up aggressively towards the Secret hallway over there to kind of counter them out. It doesn't really work too well for the Liquid players, and now this is putting it into a 5-on-3. OpTic still kind of taking control of the B-site area, while the few remaining players in Liquid are going to wrap through the vents. I'm pretty sure OpTic has already heard the action going on inside there. JDM kind of sneaking back out, but Jason Arc gets a nice double lineup, and then Mixwell finishes things off from control.
Yeah, another clean round from OpTic. So far, only 1 death. These past 2 rounds, Liquid are going to be on a full save, so OpTic getting off to a very good start here. Jason R just in-game leader America needs, apparently.
JR nasty, man. So off of that one, of course, going into the full save round now for Team Liquid. 0 investment across the board this time. Possibly like a big stack from them, which is looking likely, considering the way that things are forming on the minimap now. But OpTic don't care. They're going to go at it anyway, which could prove to be a bit of a mistake, at least in NAF's case. Nitro picking up a kill there, too, as will Twist. But so far, it's all been evenly traded back. And Tarek and Jason R do clean up those last 2.
A very quick round, but 3 casualties go on the OpTic side. Basically, all 5 players for the CTs were at upper. But at the end of the day, just USPs can only do so much, even though they did get it down to a 2v2. Now we see the first full gun round. JDM picks up the op. You're always going to see him save on that second round so that he can op. Mixwell's going to op as well, so we might be able to see some type of a battle here at Outer.
Now JDM just going to go right, holding the position inside of the warehouse here. Normally you might see them take a position up on the catwalk or wrap back a little bit further, but JDM gets to go right for the duel, and Tarek, unfortunately, will oblige directly into it. Just walks into the crosshair and leaves it to an easy first kill for Liquid.
Yeah, that's just something that should never happen. I mean, that's the most basic common op swap possible. He probably thought that maybe Mixwell could see his arm or something like that, but...
Jason R is also going to get tagged a little bit here. Only 1 or 2 bullets hitting him, though. And then promptly falls back inside of the lobby since they have a bit more of an aggressive hold there on 8. Mixwell hoping for a trade here, missing the shot and taking a lot of backsplash damage there, too. He's now down to 24, now 1 HP after getting tagged by that HE. So he's pretty much out of the mix for the rest of this round now, as he'll have to sit back in a corner. And beyond this, there's really no map control being taken by OpTic to account for this loss of Tarek, along with the huge damage done to Mixwell. They're still stuck in the lobby and on top of the Twinkie. All right, Jason R gets a nice lineup. Unfortunate for Nitro as he kind of waltzes right into it without realizing. So there's the trade that they were looking for much earlier in the round, but it's still just a start. And they've only got 40 seconds left to try and line something up to actually get the bomb on the ground. Rush will get pushed down. Not sure if he was hurt or not yet, so he's just going to freeze for a moment here. In the meantime, Jason R sneaking up. It works out great, actually, because Naf could have just destroyed Jason R there. Or excuse me, Twist could have, but thankfully Naf saves his teammate, and now all of a sudden, this round has turned itself around, and it's a 4v2. JDM and Elige, the only remaining players for Liquid, and they don't have really a hope in the world of getting back into this site, so more than likely OpTic are going to end up walking away with it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all off. Just Jason R kind of spamming the smoke, catches Nitro with a stray little vac shot there by Jason. He goes towards the door, and they just kind of go out upper. And the way Liquid was positioned was that JDM was kind of watching for anything towards mini, probably. Elige was just holding secret steps, and you really expect your upper players to hold in that situation. When Twist and Nitro are there, you expect them to easily get 1 apiece when they go out upper, but for whatever reason, obviously the shot through smoke helped OpTic a lot, and then Twist not able to get any frags at all. And OpTic wins a 5v4, and they win with 4 players when they didn't even make the defense move. They didn't make Liquid really have to do anything, right? Or, sorry, they didn't make them move like anybody towards lower or anything like that. So that's not a round that they should be winning. They have no business winning that round, just kind of going straight out upper like that.
Almost a 3v5 too, with Mixwell getting down. With
the 1 HP.
He was pushed on a 1 HP before we actually saw them finally make that push. It was basically Jason R and Naf that made all the effort there in the site.
And, you know, with no map control, no ramp control, no outside control, really, that's not a round that they should lose.
So early on here, the guys from Liquid are going to try to get aggressive outside on this catwalk, hugging the right wall. Nitro dropped very low to 12 HP. The effort he puts up is enough to push Rush back. Unfortunately, though, the rest of the OpTic guys downstairs don't seem to be too afraid of these upgraded pistols, so they're going to be able to hold, finishing the job on Nitro from earlier on in the round there, and also bringing Elige down to about 32 HP here, too. Now, JDM is getting a little bit more adventurous inside of the lobbyway, and oh, he misses! Oh! What should have been a great shot, but then Mixwell responds inside of the wall, taking him out. Thankfully, Twist is sitting right outside the door there, and he'll be able to trade it back, but still, control for OpTic right now as it's down to a 4v3. The rest of Liquid still trying to play forward a bit more. Stan inside of the trophy room. Tarek just kind of creeping in, hoping he can get a good lineup, and he does, knocking out Stan. And this puts us back into a situation where, indeed, OpTic do have control, taking it very slowly up until the last few seconds again here as they will push themselves in, denying Twist's attempt to aggress inside of the shed, and Rush even punishing Elige from up on top of the catwalk there at the end of the round. They go up 5-0 now.
Yeah, and a lot of kills that I think are going to go Liquid's way, like aren't going Liquid's way at all. Nitro gets seen in that smoke, but even like Elige right there in Mustang, you expect him to get that kill. I know he was in a 4v1. But you still expect him to do some damage to the economy and get something going. But Liquid so far just losing every single duel from the piston round till now.
And now OpTic spreading out again, but definitely prioritizing the outside control. Problem is they keep going right into JDM. Same as the last major gun round there. We see him picking up the first kill quite easily, and it is against Mixwell this time. Tarek's going to go quickly to pick up the op, however, so they still have that in their hands for the time being. But it is going to freeze most of the pressure from OpTic across the map now, just like it did 2 rounds back, as they're all just holding on top of the Twinkie and the roof and inside of the T lobbyway. Even Tarek here getting hit up quite a bit as he's now down, losing about 40 of his health.
Yeah, that's just a great read by JDM. I mean, that's a direct saying, hey, I think this is what Mixwell did last round. I think he's going to do that, and a direct counter to it. So it makes it 5v4 right off the bat. And so far, this op battle is 1-1, right? Mixwell got him when he was going T lobby entrance. Now JDM got Mixwell.
JDM a little bit skittish, though, of holding the outside pressure close up, so he does decide to fall back a little bit more here to hold a better angle in the event that they do try to push up. Rush is trying to investigate around that catwalk, as the smoke up on top in front of him there did fade away a moment ago. While the rest of the team is making efforts to still push inside of the A-bomb site, and Naf once again sneaking in a kill from around that doorway. That's like the 3rd round we've seen that happen now. So he moves in, knocks out Nitro. The rest of the team is going to start pushing towards this one as well. JDM still alive, but he does wide peek from heaven, and that opens him up for a trade. Elige still here, is going to go for the op pickup, but unfortunately in the process he loses Stan. Twist coming back up, though only able to get 1, and now it's down to Naf, who's on the cusp of an ace if he can knock out Elige. The Molotov will hold him back, give Naf the room to be able to, at the very least, go for the plan, as time is low here, only 15 seconds remaining. Naf still being a little bit cautious about this, though, as he does decide to, in fact, no, I thought he was going to go for the dive down the vents, maybe not. Is instead just playing off the sound cue here, so he's going to wrap back around to the other side of the nuke, planting it there. Oh, Elige thought it was downstairs, though, so he's gone down the vent. I don't know if Naf was able to hear it from that far away, however. But at the moment, Elige is going to waste so much time trying to check this site that it's not even going to matter. As Elige goes in, sees it's clear, even trying to nade it back out, too. Does he even realize yet that it's gone to the other site? Well, he's seen it now for sure. And unfortunately, in wasting all this time, I don't even know if he's going to be able to get back up there quickly enough to be able to clutch this out. We'll see in a moment as he is checking for it really quickly. Looking for Naf, does go into the shed now to check it, but no, Naf will close out, and he'll get the ace to do it.
Just a ridiculous round by Naf. And I mean, again, how they entried was they just went outdoor and they killed Nitro, you know, on the site. And it's not rounds. You should not be able to win around that way at upper. You should not be able to come out and not really use any nades and just come out and kill somebody like that. So Nitro twice in a row, that's 2 gun rounds that he's let, you know, kind of let that upper site open up like that. I mean, if he just plays like Mustang or Feet, right? That's probably not going to happen. He's just playing around the silo and 4, I guess, and giving up these deaths, and it's costing Liquid huge right now.
Yep, OpTic now not even being afraid to take outside control quickly here as they just push right towards it. Liquid going to be on an eco. We get to see Nitro trying to hunt from range there with the Deagle, but no success so far. Jason R did get tagged from something, though. He's down to 40 HP. That might have been the Deagle or something else hitting him.
Yeah, so far this upper site, though, has been a big problem for him. And I know it sounds like, oh, it's only 1 kill, but once that kill opens up, that other player who's Twist, like they're heavily relying on those players at upper. If one of them goes down, it makes it a lot more difficult to hold on that other player. Twist wasn't even there that round. He actually went down secret. So Nitro was the only player there, as Mixwell makes it 4v5 in this anti-eco. And once that kill happens and they take the upper site, all the other kills are kind of, you know, easy to predict, right? You know, maybe once flanking ramp, the heaven kills are generally pretty easy to get. You get smoke off mini. It's like, it's pretty easy to hold on that retake.
Well, Stan takes an aggressive angle here inside of the ramp room. Only going to be able to get 1 kill, but he does great damage to 2 more, which Nitro attempts to capitalize upon, but Naf continues to hit these great headshots through smokes as well. Probably knew the location before it bloomed, of course, though, so JDM is going to be able to swing down these steps really quickly to trade it at least 1 kill, but it'll be short-lived as Jason R finds another one, able to trace his bullets through the smoke, and even finishes it off with the last kill as well.
It's OpTic, man. Just nukes their map, I guess. I mean, destroyed Luminosity on it last night before, you know, dropping overpass to him, and already up to 7-0 lead. And we'll see what type of adjustment Liquid makes. I mean, those players that are kind of peeking hut pretty aggressively, peeking door pretty aggressively, maybe they put JDM there. They say, hey, you know, you could actually just kind of peek into hut, you're going to get a freebie. Or maybe peek into door, you're probably going to get a kill.
It's actually hitting Mixwell on a team nade there, almost kills him.
Just seems like every round Mixwell's at like 5 health.
So not the best start for him. Rush and Tarek also going to get hit a little bit there as well from another HE. They got tossed in a trophy room. So that's about a quarter HP knocked off of both of them. Obviously decent damage done early on from Liquid, but now we have to make sure they can actually hold the site. As OpTic have dealt with these situations before, and they've actually been able to come back from them more than once. Twist will hold the close corner by the vents, which may lead him to be the first target for Naf. At the very least, try to contest it now and not allow Naf to just continue to sneak in through this door without at the very least being spotted and watched for by Team Liquid's own players. But beyond that, OpTic, mainly Mixwell, just trying to investigate for a little bit of outside control here. The rest of the team is still messing around in the lobby, though, as they run the timer down more and more. Smokes will start to roll in, and it is looking like Naf is going to try to go for that play once more, but they're checking for this corner from Twist, actually.
Twist, he closed the door for some reason when it opened it, so they knew exactly where he was. He's lucky he didn't die there.
Now the rest of the team, they're going to try to play over here towards the ramp room. Stan catching one, but then being traded out. They still have a Liege, though, who's going to go massive and just end up with a quad kill, back-to-back frags. Finally now putting Liquid on the board.
Yeah, a quad kill in about, what was that, 1 second?
Yeah.
Let's see.
The Molly helping it out a bit as well, but 1, 2, 3. The fourth, I think, is Burns before he gets out.
2 3-second quad kill.
So good stuff from him, and good job to bail out his team too. Because if he had gone down while only trading out like 1 or 2 players there, then that could have allowed OpTic to escape with another round. But finally, their lead has been curtailed a little bit here, but it could very well just be reset again if OpTic is able to pick up this round. It is looking like OpTic will go for that fast play on outside again here, but not swinging wide this time, flying up on top of the mini garage and taking the catwalk route instead. JDM took a much more passive position this time, right outside of Hell. Waits it out. Should OpTic get aggressive to wrap around, of course. He'll be ready for this. And back over here inside of the lobby. Once again, this has become the sort of staging ground for OpTic. Jason R dispatched of early on and trying to pressure towards the A site once again. And Mixwell also, much like many rounds in the past, tagged down very low. JDM's going to find Tarek lurking around. Rush, in the meantime, though, sneaking up here, is going to waltz in, finds one, knows where a second is positioned, tries to swing its round on the backside there. Nitro will trade out for one, but then Twist goes down. Nitro still alive, however. So this is left to Mixwell, who really couldn't do much about that push with the Molly in his way, and only 22 HP overall. But if he can find Nitro quickly enough, he may be able to check his backside to prevent Stan from eliminating him, although that may not happen. And indeed, Stan does just walk right into the door room, taking out Mixwell and taking another round for Liquid here too.
Yeah, so Stan, couple rounds now, he's been flanking ramp. All of a sudden, OpTic's economy isn't great. This might be their last gun round. I think they're just going to have to drop one. Rush with a nice flank here, but you don't expect that many players on upper, right? Just 3 or 4 players on upper, just very close to upper like that. So even though he does get that flank, just too many Liquid players there.
Yeah, and now, since Liquid's finally caught on to this overall strat from OpTic, it seems like there's been a bit of a slowing of them.
Well, the thing about the way OpTic's playing is, I don't think that's necessarily a recipe for success is how they were winning rounds, right? It's a lot of just straight entries onto the upper site that almost never happens. You almost never entry somebody at upper like that where you're just killing them through the door and that's the first kill of the round. It might happen once a half. It's usually not something that happens multiple times a half, you know, maybe killing someone coming out hut first. Usually that player is at Mustang, the other player might be top hut. If nobody's coming in through mini or something like that, I mean, they're 1-by-1 doorways, Blue. It's usually very easy to hold.
Yeah. So now it's looking like OpTic may try to play towards a little bit more outside control this time around. Still smoking and mollying off the upper site, though, as if they're trying to make for a take there. And Elige down those secret steps, but oh, they're actually going to try to pinch on the A site really quickly. As we can see, they're moving back in. Nitro kind of bailing out Twist first off. Twist still ends up going down. Nitro, though, fragging out in these past few rounds. He's finally taken out by Tarek, and Rush picks up an additional kill against JDM, leaving Elige as the last man alive. Tries to pull a Stewie there through the smoke at the end, but it doesn't pay off, and Tarek closes out to trade out the round for OpTic, and unfortunately, Liquid didn't really build up much of a bank, so they're going to be forced to save here.
Yeah, that was a massive round. I mean, OpTic had about 3 rounds in a row where they could break the economy of Liquid while they kept buying. That was their last chance at it, and they succeed. And again, it's that upper site. This entire half, Twist and Nitro have not been doing a good job there. Simply put, just not succeeding. OpTic getting clean entries often, that time trading into a 3v3, and they're already out the site by the time the rotate comes. And it's easy, man. When you're out there and you're waiting for somebody to come up that heaven ladder, it's an easy shot. If you're holding mini, maybe you get a smoke down, it's not difficult to hold off that retake.
OpTic, again, the same sort of lineup that we saw in the past few rounds, although this round it should, in theory, be a little bit easier to pull off. There's a big stack of Liquid they're going to try to push in towards the lobby, though, but besides knocking out really one player, the relative... Oh, what? Elige just got Rush going up the ladder as well. So this could go out of control unless they recover this right here, right now. Thankfully, OpTic are going to be able to push in towards outside freely and sort of wrap around, but they still have a 3v4 disadvantage right now. Thankfully, they're watching out for this. Good headshots from Mixwell. Picks up a nice double kill right there. And now this round comes kind of back down to earth. That's it's JDM and Stanislaw left as the last 2 alive here. With only a P250 and a USP between them. Jason R has already knocked out JDM back over there by the vent ladder, and then Tarek finishes off Stanislaw.
Yeah, 3v5. Elige runs up the ladder, I think, to kill whoever that was. Where was Tarek, though? Because on his screen, I think they were coming out, you know, you saw the x-ray. I think they were pushing through Squeaky, and I think he was on yellow, looking down, and it looked like he was just like...
Well, I think he was on the roof, wasn't he? Because he usually pushes outside.
Yeah, I think he was on the roof, and they were pushing... No, I think he was on yellow. You see where that is? Right there?
Yeah.
He was on yellow looking at that pipe, and they were running right below him through Squeaky, and I'm like, what is going on?
So back into another investment for Liquid, but it's not the greatest, as you can see. Either limited utility with the buy or just having to downgrade there a little bit. Stan on a FAMAS, Twist sitting on a UMP. Still definitely a winnable round, especially if they can get the early advantage like they have made a pattern of getting before. But this is looking like a much more normal execute, actually, from OpTic, with the smokes covering off the cross from the red train. Unfortunately, though, Elige takes the first battle. Well, he does pick up a kill. He's traded back out, which opens up a pathway for OpTic to continue their push down through Secret. And they even have Tarek waiting in this smoke, and oh, he gets that kill against Stan. Stan was waiting for it. Twist did trade down below on those secret steps, but that kill from Tarek was huge.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's like a kill that shouldn't happen. He's barreling through a smoke like that. Stan's waiting on the other side. You expect Liquid players to get these frags, and they're simply not getting them. Now, again, another 3v3 close type of scenario. Usually we see him at upper. This time it's going to be more slowed down. Tarek's going to go first, and then that way if he dies, his teammate's going to immediately trade, hopefully, for OpTic's sake, and put it into like a 2v2.
JDM waiting, however, inside of that trophy room, picking up one after Jason R was able to knock out Nitro, and now moving into the site. Twist could still be a big surprise to them if he times this properly. Going up through the vents there. Smoke not going to get in his way, and I'm not sure if they're really prepared for him. A nice shot from JDM, and this goes down to Jason R to clutch in a 1v2 now. As he's placed below, the nade's going to go way too far. He's fully focused on that heaven position, though, and that makes it very easy for Twist to just walk right up, take him out, and give Liquid the round.
Yeah, so they get out upper, but JDM's rotate is way too quick coming out of ramp. Had a big impact in that round. And, you know, that was the first round that they did outside smokes, you know, where they just do the smoke wall and they kind of pressure Secret a bit, make the defense move that way, and the CTs move that way. That was the first time they did that this half. Puts it down to a 3v3, a manageable situation around they can win. But, you know, unfortunately for OpTic, JDM just makes a big play there.
OpTic themselves now pretty much putting everybody on the roof to start off this round. Still keeping, I believe it's Jason R to watch for the outside pressure, but beyond that, very quickly moving into positions and even breaking the windows to possibly over the next few seconds here, maybe set up smokes for another upper play if they do decide to follow through with that one. But Liquid finally back on the grind a little bit here, finally finding a bit more consistency. As the rounds get traded a bit more, OpTic still, of course, with a huge round advantage that we are heading into the closing 3 rounds on the half. But JDM, oh, he catches one, but it's only a leg against Mixwell, so he is going to be able to escape inside of the garage right now, but can't follow through with the actual push. He's way too low in HP, and he's still waiting for his teammates to get into position as well, I believe. They're just now kind of creeping up to the doorway, getting ready for this push. Mixwell's ready to explode when needed, but he needs his teammates to sort of act as a distraction here. It creeps out, but is spotted by Leech. I think he was unsure if that was a player or not, so he didn't want to give away his position. And now, as the rest do move in, Liquid are set up for this, and it's all just going to be about stopping those kills from coming out from OpTic that have been so strong on this half. They move in, 1-to-1 trade to start. They're not checking the second vent, but they do take him down pretty quickly after that, as Nitro and JDM contribute to the last few kills, and Liquid win it out with 3 alive.
Yeah, and OpTic's just never going to win that round when there's 4 players at upper like that. I actually thought they did a good job. They waited, and a lot of the time they waited long enough that I thought Liquid might start rotating and worrying about, like, well, what if they're lower and whatnot. But they didn't. They stayed at upper. They waited and waited and waited, and they had 4 players there while OpTic was hitting the site. And what's been hurting Liquid is that generally, as OpTic is now on a save, looks like they're going to go through door, maybe try to plant lower or something. But what's been hurting Liquid is that Elige has actually been playing for Secret a lot. He's been in the Secret steps a lot, and he's been out of the plays, you know, quite a few rounds. But now he's more in the play. He's going towards upper because they're not really utilizing Secret.
Twist getting a nice lineup of kills here, though, as he reads on the OpTic push. I think they're going to try to go for a vent dive, but I don't think Jason R can actually find the vent. He just left in a really awkward position as the last man standing escapes the vent. But then Elige is already waiting down there. As you saw, he had dropped before Jason R even got inside, so it's a pretty easy close on that round for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a very, very telegraphed play. And Twist, this time not on top hut, goes to 2 vent. Very, very easy frag. Again, you're coming out of 1-by-1 doorway, Blue. It should be a hold.
So Team Liquid not really struggling with that round at all, and it takes us in round number 15 here. Last one of the half. OpTic back up to a full buy, of course. Not going to be able to get the op. Really the only thing missing from this buy, though, is they do get everything else, at least in a default sort of buy. They're going to be missing like some mollies and whatnot, but Rush already getting tagged down to 10 HP. I think that's mainly from Elige. Tries to follow it up with a nade, but it's a little bit off its mark. So only going to do 1 damage to Rush. Won't finish him off as he would have hoped there. Derek taking a tad of damage for the molly, but...
Well, it looks like the way Elige plays is that he just has rain to do whatever he wants. We've seen him outside. We've seen him helping ramp. We've seen him at upper. We've seen him at secret and lower, right? He could pretty much do whatever he wants. He's like their rotator, and usually I think he's going to be the guy going towards lower. JDM always ends up back at like CT Heaven late round, and then Stan's playing ramp.
Yeah, now Stan getting ready for this ramp push himself. He's going to be challenged once more here as OpTic do start to roll back in, but it's a big lineup of players. However, he's only able to dispatch of 1. Help is on the way from Hell, but it's going to take a few more seconds, and Rush knocks out Stan and follows it up. Jason R taking down JDM. The rest of OpTic going to follow through with the push. They did take a lot of damage from that play, though, as we could see. Stan, while he only got 1 kill, he took great damage off of Tarek, Jason R, Rush, and even Naf. All of them highest HP player now sitting at 62. Nitro is going to start off this retake with the elimination of Jason R back up at the ramp here now. Elige tries to find one from Decon, but unable to find where the bomb is being planted. It was inside of the smoke. He does hold this position, but he needs to be a little bit more cautious in case someone wraps around him like that. Rush will take out Elige before he can actually start his own re-entry. And now Tarek patiently waiting inside of the vents. Rush is knocking him out 1 by 1 at this point. It's down to Nitro now, who took control of the ramp earlier, but they should already know he's coming from this position based off of that kill. That may not stop from getting more frags, however, as he's picked up another one. 2 more to go, both of which I should say, are actually stuck in those back vent halls right now. The smoke just goes down. He'll attempt the ninja defuse inside of it. Now we hope the OpTic guys know where he's defusing from, and thankfully they do, as Rush does indeed close it out, and we will see OpTic claiming a 10th round there, adding 1 more to the counter before the end of the half. Stick with us, guys. We'll see in just a few minutes if OpTic can continue forward in claiming their revenge here against Team Liquid, or if they'll battle back and claim map number 1 here on Nuke.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Well, we're back again, folks, and OpTic hold the lead against Team Liquid here so far on Nuke coming out of the first half. OpTic winning quite a few rounds that I think in your words, you said, were pretty much rounds they had no business taking, especially with their entries on the upper site.
Well, the fashion that they were winning rounds and how they opened up rounds was always, you know, generally just like direct gun battles and a lot of the time at upper. That's usually not how you win rounds on Nuke. Usually if a guy's top hut, he's going to kill the guy coming out squeaky. If the guy's Mustang, he's going to kill the guy coming out hut. Now, there were some things that you couldn't really account for, like Nitro dying through the smoke, for instance, while Jason R just like taps through it twice and kills him, you know. Those things happen. But in general, usually don't win rounds that way. It worked for OpTic today and now, but do I think they would be able to take that same philosophy and count on winning rounds like that against other teams, you know, maybe like Virtus Pro or something like that? Probably not. It's usually not a recipe for success, but it worked right now. Nitro and Twist were having just a lot of trouble on that upper site, and it really hurt Liquid's rotate because Elige was playing more towards like the secret steps and whatnot. Stan was staying ramp. JDM was kind of watching outside to mini and secret, and you expect those two guys to multi-frag and stay alive at upper much better than they did.
We are into the pistol round of the second half, however. Team Liquid now on the T side, and early on, taking quite a few players early to the trophy room, but not peeking out into the hallway yet. As you can see, there's a possible battle going to be happening in the vents, and oh, Mixwell beautifully lined up. I was worried we were going to see a miss there, but he gets the headshot, wrapping out the outside, and Naf also takes a successful battle. Mixwell even claims a second victim from this outside position there, taking down Nitro this time, so a huge advantage early on. Here goes to OpTic Gaming, and they now hold it 4v2. JDM and Twist, the last two standing. JDM with the bomb, thankfully, still back out on the roof, and it shouldn't be too big of a problem to regroup with Twist. For the most part, OpTic have given up on their own aggression, and they've kind of just fallen back to defend. They'll let Liquid regroup and go for whatever take they'll want to, as they've got a huge advantage now, and there's no reason to overextend upon that. JDM, I think, spotting the feet of Mixwell out here inside of the warehouse. Just not worth taking shots at that, as it's going to do maybe 20 damage at most if he hits those couple shots there. So he'll wait to see if he fully peaks that, and then try to take him down at that point. But other than that, it seems like they're going to take the outside route here. And again, just reconfirming that position of Mixwell, but not wanting to jump down just yet, as they run down the timer a little bit more. Mixwell finally moving out to take said battle we talked about before against Twist. Knocks off about 50 of his own HP as he's down to 52 now. And along with Twist, still trying to move from on top of the mini garage here. JDM's also trying to push on the ground. Unfortunately, to do kind of a double take on Tarek, but still gets the kill, and now Mixwell pushing forward. I mean, could actually just finish both these players off. They're both incredibly low. They'll try to do a vent dive. They're not going to be able to account for this player downstairs, though. Jason R was waiting for it. JDM just gets right up in the face of Jason R to take him down. Unfortunately, there's no time remaining for the plant, so JDM just swings his knife out, hoping for a little bit of battle against Mixwell, but he won't give it to him. He will knock him out there, and we'll see the pistol go into the control of OpTic.
Nice shots by Mixwell, just getting very aggressive on outside, catching Stan off guard as he's setting up for a smoke. Yeah, the shot on Nitro was really impressive. Those are tough angles to aim at too, because they're not like left to right angles. You don't exactly know where the head point's going to be, right? But Mixwell gets the job done, and now OpTic winning both pistol rounds, a successful T-side, are looking like they're in great shape to take this match.
Yeah, assuming they don't get ecoed here for any reason, it should be really easy for them to just push forward and take those last few gun rounds to close out. It's going to be those gun rounds, though, that they'll need to be able to pick up, which could prove problematic, so we won't.
Yeah, let's see who their lower rotate is. I believe it's normally NAF. Yeah, so the way they rotate to lower is much different than how Liquid is rotating. Liquid's rotating to lower by Elige, who's the ramp rotator. NAF is their normal ramp player, and he's the guy rotating to lower.
And Naf is already positioned inside of Toxic, ready for the hit to come into this lower site now. Actually, he's going to swing the doors open himself, try to find the bomb planter, succeeds in doing so. Quick trade from JDM, though. Good stuff on him. The door even closes right before he goes down, too. We do see Stanislav picking up a second kill, and he's kind of funneling these remaining CTs, all three of them just going right through the vents here. Another battle won out by Liquid as Stanislav takes down Mixel from inside of the vents, and patience from Elige and Stan as they claim those last two and do pull out the successful eco against OpTic. And now causing a bit of upset to start off this half.
And that's kind of the problem when you have that ramp player rotating, is if Naf's rotating to there, if he's not going window side, all of a sudden they could be in back vents, they could be in detox, they have full window side control. And if they do get the bomb down, it's a much more difficult retake, right? Because if you're sending multiple players down the vent, you know, there's just a lot of angles that you're just going to die at, that are simply very T-sided, or the people who are already down there have the advantage.
OpTic trying to force into this round, as we would generally expect, the ability to still try to crush their economy here. They lose Tarek really early on. JDM hits a nice headshot. Chasing Mixwell, though, leads to a trade, but I doubt it's going to be short-lived here. Yeah, Twist able to hop back down. Elige spotting out another kill. It's down to a 2v4 at this point, although nobody's paying attention to the mini garage, although Naf whiffing on an opportunity to actually close out against Twist as he was sitting up on top of the big blue box. Even Elige from heaven finding Naf before he successfully retreats down those vents. Let's see what Jason R can do in terms of damage here in a 1v4. Probably not going to be much now that he's been spotted. Stan just waits for him on the outside. They want a quick closeout here without losing any additional players, and that's what they'll get. As Stan again picks up the last kill.
Yeah, so now we should see the full eco from OpTic. And I'm wondering if this ramp rotate to lower is going to end up hurting them a bit if they just give up all of that backside control. Instead of having anybody like Secret Steps ever challenging or anything like that.
OpTic now just going to be playing pretty much in a standard style setup here. Now it doesn't look like they're going to try to go for a big stack or anything like that. Tarek playing kind of close to the door, but other than that, they've added an extra player to the inner hold here. But it's already been spotted. JDM catching out Jason R, trying to hide on top of the silo itself. Beyond this, Liquid not making any unpredictable moves here. So OpTic may be able to clean up, you know, one or two players, but overall, we shouldn't expect anything too crazy in terms of the upset here. Tarek still kind of just standing in the way of the hit, and Jason R actually got a little bit aggressive too. Checking out inside of the shed there, as Tarek actually gets tagged quite a bit through the door itself before it's even opened there. He's now brought down to 34. Same fate for Jason R, being knocked down to 17 HP. Tarek's actually going to make a bit of a move there, jumping inside of the window and going across. So he gets out of that kind of riskier position. But now, in the meantime here, Team Liquid have already moved in towards the ramp, seeing that it's wide open. They're going to have no problem swinging back downstairs here and taking easy control of B to find the plant there and then just holding it to close out on the round. Hunting for any, of course, additional frags that they would be able to find in the meanwhile. As OpTic, unfortunately, is not going to pose much of a threat to them here with just these P250s and default pistols here. It's certainly going to be an 8th for Team Liquid, and, you know, with that eco upset along with the following rounds here, it's pretty much put them right back into a game. 8-11 is going to be the scoreline. Very recoverable. Even if OpTic should win out, you know, the next big gun round here, it's still in a position where Liquid can battle back, as long as we don't fall into the same massive streak that OpTic had going for them in the last half. Not really, just waiting to see if the OpTic guys are going to be able to do much here. There's not really anything to save for, so positioning themselves in spots to try and find a few exits. But so far, with the exception of Tarek, they're picking up one, not really going too successfully. It seems like everybody else has been managed. Elige catching 1 and 2 more at the end there. Very nice from him. He cleans it up really well and ends up with a 4K on the round.
Yeah, so top fragger in the entire game is Elise right now, even though his team's, you know, losing by a few rounds, 18 and 13. But now OpTic doesn't get the full buy. Let's see if Mixwell has an off.
No, not this
So
time.
no op, just 5 M4s. Pretty limited utility, actually. Fast outside coming from Elise.
It's really just him, though. He doesn't have any support behind him. He gets tagged down really low by Mixwell on the cross. Almost again, too. If he kept holding W there, that might have been a bit of an early end for Elise. So he's being cautious about this approach towards Secret. But he does succeed in getting to that position, whereas the rest of his teammates are still stacked for the most part inside of the T lobby. Everybody else on OpTic has not really sold themselves on this being a B hit yet, but they did rotate a player downstairs. And with JDM's entry here, it's looking good. Mixwell goes back inside of Heaven, trades out one onto JDM, but that is the site now under the control of Team Liquid, even though into a 4v4, and a lot of the utility from OpTic went unused, so they may be able to use some of these flashbangs and smokes to get back in. Misstep from Tarek there allows Elise to clean up a kill. Mixwell, in theory, should be able to get a trade out there, but with Twist dispatching of Naf now, this is just looking rougher and rougher for OpTic to be able to actually do anything, and still upset in this round. Rush moves in, picks up 1 kill. He's down to 19 HP, though. Mixwell helping out a little bit with 1 kill, trying to go for 1 more if he can take down Elise, but Elise is smart again. He runs away, chooses not to take the contest here, and now Stan's going to swing out, gets a nice headshot against Mixwell, closing out on the round for Team Liquid, and now putting them just 2 away from tying the match back up.
Yeah, and now, you know, Tarek is the one that rotated lower because of what happened on that anti-EK. And then all of a sudden, their upper holds were literally just Jason R. That was it. He was the only player upper. So Liquid winning rounds in a different way, right? And I think it's more sustainable to win rounds like that over time on T side. They got the defense moving, they moved a player to lower, and they hit upper before Mixwell could get to Heaven, and there was only 1 player at upper. The entry comes out, they have the site by just getting 1 kill. And again, once you have that upper site, and you have like 4 players live, especially with Elise around Secret, I mean, that's gonna be a 1 round, you know, 80% of the time.
Jason R sneaking off the kill there as JDM looked a little bit confused at the start of the round. Thankfully, Nitro and Twist in great positions to be able to trade those right back, sending this round back to reality. Elise been reading the push from Tarek back there, Suicide, so just a bit of a shooting gallery here. Naf sneaking off 1 more kill, so overall, OpTic do drop 2 players and force those rebuys going into this round, but with the amount of money Liquid have, that's not really a problem at this point. OpTic back into another big buy finally, and it does include the AUG coming back into play. We saw this yesterday. We're going to see it again in the hands of Naf, and Mixwell also going for the AUG purchase.
I think I just read that the Negev cost $2,000 now.
What, in an update?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Look at Vendetta's face. I wish it was on camera right now. I'm dead serious.
So they did push it up. Was it like a big update? Or was
Negev price reduced to 2,000 as a starting point to promote experimentation with the weapon.
Wait, is it active now though, or is it like did they turn it on? Because it's still
Dude, the Negev is insane.
Yeah.
$2,000 Negev.
It's still turned off in competitive matches though, isn't it?
It says.
Anyway, Elise gets that first entry. While Daze looks into this, Elise
For
does
a
get that
limited
first.
time, the Negev and Art Revolver are available in competitive matchmaking. But I mean, of course, it's going to be. I assume it would be available for the next match.
Oh boy.
Are we just going to see Negevs everywhere?
That'll be fun.
What a world we live in, Blue.
And what a treat we'll have to cast in. In the meantime, though, of us discussing that, like I said before, Liquid did get outside control. So I think they're going to try to pinch A again. And in fact, they pick up yet another kill, too. Stanislaw fighting Tarek, JDM knocking out Jason R. This is all falling apart pretty quickly for OpTic here. And Naf down below just goes into a molly. And JDM not even thrown off by that one, putting down yet another one. End up with a double kill on the round. And now Liquid the possibility to take the lead, as we'll be tied up here. But we are going to go into what I believe will be a tactical pause from OpTic.
Liquid, I want you to just rush the rest of the game so I can get to the Negevs.
So it is enabled too. Like
that's how many bullets around is that? I think it's 200 and 200, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's 400, so 2,000 a team. We might see 4,000 bullets shot around.
What's that going to do for the headshot percentages? That's the...
Oh my.
The whole match is just going to sound like we're in a helicopter the entire time or something like that. Just, well, Daze, it looks like we're heading into the next round now. It's a bit of a choppy one out there today, but we'll see if we can make it work.
It's raining bullets.
Yeah. So like I said before, tactical pause for OpTic, match is now tied. Liquid, after, keep in mind too, if you only recently came in to the stream a few minutes ago, OpTic did win the pistol on this half. It was actually Liquid that then ecoed and has won, I think, the next 7 rounds past that point, because I don't think OpTic's traded past that, so.
No, I don't think so either. It was 10-5, right?
Yeah.
And they won 1 round, the pistol round, and they've lost every round since.
So it's put Liquid into a position where they can almost definitely, especially with this buy from OpTic in this round, try and take the lead off of them and maybe even upset in this map after OpTic had that great T-side. Liquid are having a good one themselves to start things off here. To see something better from OpTic in that next gun round is unfortunately in that last one, although we got murked up a bit with our discussion on the Negev being enabled. It was still a pretty dominant victory from Team Liquid, and OpTic just didn't really have a response to it at all. Just players getting knocked off one by one. And just didn't even really seem like OpTic were too set up for trades in that situation either. Everybody just going down, and there was almost no room for responses half the time. So obviously, since it is an eco round from OpTic, Team Liquid are just going to take their time with this one, making sure that OpTic don't try to do anything hyper-aggressive. Tries to throw them off, which could lead to the upset. Nice and cautiously, so they can secure that lead, get that 12th round. We don't see any slip-ups there. The Molly, I think the JDM, yeah, he just saw the head, so reconfirms the position there. Taking down Naf pretty easily, and now the outside push will swing in. Twist, I think, also got another kill closer towards the inside of the A-bomb site there. Probably near, like, the shed or something like that. So, knocking out a second here. Mixwell still holds close to those smokes, where Elige and Nitro were pushed up to, and they're going to wrap around here. Oh, Nitro, great recovery. Didn't even look like he was expecting to find a player inside there, but still gets the kill. Elige following through with one more, and now it's just Rush hiding in the corner, getting one, trying to go for a second, but Stan with a quick trade. That'll give Liquid the lead now, 12-1 in their favor with a massive amount of cash, too. In fact, Stan was maxed out at the beginning of this round. Twist sitting at 10K. Everybody except for JDM now, post-buy, is over 10K at this point.
Yeah, and we'll see no op coming out from OpTic either. And this lower rotate is becoming a problem for them. Liquid moving the defense around. They have 5 outside this round. Mixwell backs out. He sees it. He goes to mini. Shots coming from heaven, coming from hell. Both players die. Mixwell smoked out at mini. Now he's going to rotate to lower. Naf's already there. But Liquid's just slowing it down. They're saying, hey, they moved. They probably sent, rotators there. Let's just wait, see if we can get any kills, and then pinch on something.
Yeah, and more than likely that just may turn into another upper pinch like they did in the last gun round too. There's not really any reason for them to try and push downstairs at this point, considering how many they just cleaned up around heaven. So it'll actually be an open site, I think, if they decide to go in towards A. Jason R may have rotated back up, but we even have Stanislaw.
Never an open site with Jason R defending it.
As he will be positioned right in the plant spot, watching out for heaven drops. And I think they also rotated Mixwell up from the vents too, so he's sitting right in that corner. Okay, that doesn't last for very long. Stanislaw makes quick work of Mixwell, and now Jason R looking away at the wrong moment. So in that moment, they swing out past heaven and completely overwhelm him. Twist and Elige making quick work of Jason R. And Naf, I imagine, not going to be able to do much about this. Probably just going to be hiding in this corner to save now.
Just absolutely dominant T-side so far from Liquid. This round, 5 outside. Don't even smoke anything really, just take gun battles, win 2 right off the bat on Tariq and I believe it was Rush, peeking from Hell and Heaven. And then Liquid just slows it down, they don't force anything, they get Stan back in the lobby, and they just go up Heaven and just split upper. I believe it was 1 mini, 3 Heaven, and 1 lobby.
It's a team ace for Liquid, and Nitro's even going to steal the AUG this time to toss over to a teammate there. So, yeah, really clean stuff from Liquid. Mixwell, unfortunately...
Just not happy about that one.
Yeah.
I would not be happy about that one.
And now,
way to die.
This puts OpTic into another pretty bad situation here, where for the most part, just going to end up being a half buy for a lot of their players. We can see a couple guns invested into it. The Scout for Tariq and a UMP for Jason R, but beyond that, it's just upgraded pistols. Look at that from JDM, just going right through the door, doesn't give a damn, and legs Rush, almost getting the kill there, but dropping him down to 15 HP. Not going to be too bad either.
Down to 9. Nate almost got him.
Now Elige, armed with the AUG, is also trying to see if he can make any impact from up on top of the Twinkie there. Won't be finding any secret steps players this time from OpTic. I think they've got a guy inside of the warehouse there. That's Tariq, but he's already backing up too, I think, towards Heaven or something like that. So he'll move away from it. I'm pretty sure JDM just hit another leg against Mixwell or something through a wall. He's down at 18 HP. much like a lot of these rounds in the past, at the moment, it's just looking like Liquid getting all the advantages early on, and OpTic just not able to compensate for it. Their best hope at this point would be them not checking for Jason R and him multi-fragging to try and cause some chaos here. Since he has this aggressive position right on the other side of Twinkie. But Twist is going to wrap back in. They don't check for it. He'll be a little bit patient here. More pushing in. Oh, he missed the first spray, though, and now goes in. But he's only able to get that one kill. And JDM instantly trading it back out. Rush with 9 HP will be the next attempted defender here if they do decide to do that kind of pinch move inside of A again. But right now, just taking the warehouse control, trying to wrap outside a little bit here, too. Imagine trying to give Elige a clean path over here towards Heaven. And that is indeed going to be the area he swings towards. Being a little bit cautious, though, as Tarek still waits inside. But it's with the scout, so nothing too much to fear here. Nitro catching a first kill.
Flash.
What? Oh, Tarek getting a headshot out of nowhere against Elige. Apparently it is something to be feared. Problem is now he's surrounded, though, and there's nowhere safe to hide.
That was insane. Did you see the flash they threw, though? That was really cool. So they threw a nice flash, and then he comes out, but Tarek just hits a ridiculous shot.
I think we'll see from his perspective here.
Look at this.
Completely flashed. He recovers before he hits the headshot, but still.
He's on the gear.
Well, not on the gear enough, it would seem, as they're down 14-11 now after holding a 10-5 lead coming into this half. Possibly their last real big gun round going to be happening right here, right now. As Liquid, if they win out this one, obviously the force from OpTic won't be that great. And that'll put Liquid up on a bat point here. Fast smokes from Team Liquid so they can take that outside control. Trying to use the smokes to try and bait players outside of the warehouse there, but Elige not catching anything. Mixwell remaining steady inside of his position here, hiding in the corner, and the rest of the team following through with taking that control. They still did have quite a few players in the lobby, though, so they're also going to need to move in and probably take ramp control to successfully bring the bomb fully downstairs. But beyond this, they'll be held up, those guys that are trying to push over towards ramp. As we can see, Stan, I think JDM and one more still positioned, having to wait out one of the CT smokes, because they did delay it a little bit over there. And no one actually meeting any contact yet. I think the site itself, the exception of Naf, who's kind of trying to pull double duty here, watching out for the ramp itself and the bottom site. Trying to check for it, but his attention is going to be much more focused on the ramp here over these next few moments. The problem is he's got to be cautious of behind him as well. Yeah, he was just pincered there, so there wasn't really a whole lot of safe positions to play from. Twist will knock him out pretty easily, and now the problem is the rest of the team was expecting this to work its way towards the upper site, and oh, Elige takes in a bit of an aggressive battle, but Tarek ends up getting the better of it. The Molly will still send them back, prevent for any early push in on a retake there. Tarek swinging the door open, but pretty quickly changing his mind about that decision to peek out into it. Has to fall back. The flashbang forces a corner look from Nitro, but at the moment, again, still not seeing any impact made at all from OpTic. It's Stanislaw wiping the floor with everybody on OpTic there, right outside of the secret hallway. He's picked up 3 kills back to back to back, and there's only one more to go. It's against Tarek. Twist will finalize it, and now Liquid up on to 15 rounds.
Yeah, that player going down secret. Mixwell, I believe, was on right side big, so he just snuck right past them. When Rush went back to help ramp, watch underneath Heaven. So it was just wide open. Naf goes down to lower, gets shot in the back. All of a sudden, they have a guy in window side, so all they have to worry about is the vents and, you know, decon, yeah. And then ramp, right? So it's pretty easy to hold in that sense. Now they just go with an upper rush. Finally, OpTic gets a hold.
Now it's down to JDM in a 1v3 pretty quickly after that one.
No? Where did the nade go, Blue?
Just didn't hit.
How did that not kill him?
I don't know. I don't know, dude.
Unbelievable.
Just can't ever count on CSGO nades getting a kill.
You really can't.
It's just a roll of the dice.
You know what's great to get kills in is PUBG nades. Throw them in a window with some noobs camping a little hut. It's great.
Just smoke them out. All right, well, that'll give OpTic a little bit more firing power. And keep in mind, too, obviously Liquid running on a huge string of rounds here, but OpTic were never really that far behind them. It's the 3-round run only needed from OpTic to bring them back into it. And Mixwell hits like a perfect headshot against JDM here, too. He did get tagged a bit, down to 51 HP in the process, but finding that kill. Rush and Tarek doing some nice work outside, and they pretty much single-handedly stopped the hit now with that group of outside players. It's now down to Stanislaw, who's going to be lurking in through the little shed here. He is alone as well and didn't even have the bomb. Won't even get a first kill. Jason Art immediately taking him down and putting us up to 13 for OpTic. 2 more to go. We'll be an OT. Nice shot from Mixwell.
Yeah, JDM got the first shot off, but Mixwell getting the kill, and that was just a calculated risk. They played 3 outside, essentially, 1 on the catwalk, 1 underneath yellow, and then Mixwell in the big garage. Mixwell getting that first kill pretty much assures everybody else is probably going to get at least 1, and it just turns into just a nice clean hold on outer. And that's just a calculated guess, again, that they're going to do something outside before they do anything else. So they overplay it, and it worked out very well for OpTic. And now OpTic gets a little bit of momentum. They really only need 2 gun rounds. That's it.
Yes, they do. And we'll be going into the next one here in just a moment. As it looks like Team Liquid did call for a pause there. They themselves looking for the strat that's needed to just close out on this map and take it over to our second one without having to go into OT, of course. But we'll get unpaused in a moment as soon as they're ready to go and see what that strategy will be. As now OpTic back into the game a little bit here. That huge lead they got off on the T side, of course, helping them out immensely here with their own comeback capability, as it seemed almost certain that Team Liquid would just easily close out, as OpTic weren't getting anything on these CT sides going, but suddenly Liquid throwing a lot of these strats at the wall, and OpTic always seeming ready for them here in these last few rounds. The one that they attempted to do first off didn't really work so well, and the second one here was read very well from OpTic. As you said, they took a risk, and it worked out beautifully. So now they're back in the game. Only 2 rounds are needed to take this to OT. It looks like they're going to go for just another outside play here. Again, a lot of players stacking up there early on, but also splitting a few into the lobby here, as Elige is going to be the point man outside, and currently the only man too. Everyone else had fallen back and went inside towards the T lobby, and they're holding here, I imagine, to run down the timer a bit and make sure OpTic don't do anything aggressive. Elige not finding much on that outside position, but he could very well use this to try and lurk and do the pinch inside of A if they decide to go for that again. That was working very successfully for them on a lot of these previous gun rounds. OpTic used it once or twice as well, relying kind of on NAF to get those entries from inside of the doorway, but then following through while having 2 drop back in. A first kill from Liquid, but Tarek trades in. Nice spin around from Elige, takes out Tarek, and they're still looking, but that's it. That's all they found on the site. That's full control for them. Rush did work on a flank from the ramp room here, and Mixwell's going to be hopping himself back up into heaven, but he's smoked out. He can't spot much. Thankfully for the OpTic guys, Rush does pick up a first kill here, and catching Stanislaw retreating into the lobby. More to be found in a moment should JDM go for this peek. The Molotov is going to send Twist back out, but JDM still holds a position. Flashbang, kind of scaring JDM a little bit there. Mixon missed the shot, but then he goes back in. It's a dirty one on Rush. Twist and Mixwell trading blows. Leaves us in a 1v2 for Mixwell to keep his team in the map right now. If not, it's going to be all over, and it's going to be Team Liquid taking the scoreline. The smoke goes in. He jumps on the bomb down to 53, and JDM finishes things off with a Tech 9. It's Team Liquid that claim map number 1 here in this 2 best-of-1 series, and they will go up with the early advantage.
Man, Liquid with just a great T-side OpTic couldn't, get anything going there. And that time, if you saw Liquid and the way they took upper was a little bit different. They throw outside smokes. They get them looking outside. Elige got on top of Mini, I believe, and then drops down while his teammates are hitting upper. So he got the kill on the guy top hut, right? Jason goes down. He gets caught with a molly in his hand, and then he's coming through Mini. Mixwell doesn't punish him for it. And, again, the upper holds, man. Yeah, it's tough to hold, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks like when I want to say Keo holds it and just plays on Mustang, makes it look so easy.
Yeah,
just 4K after 4K.
All right, so we're going to bring the analyst back into the conversation now. I want to talk a little bit more about Twist. Guys, what were your thoughts on his first performance now stepping in for Liquid?
Honestly, nothing special. I think for the better part of that CT half, you got to be honest about it. It didn't really do a whole lot on that CT side. Honestly, his position on that upper bomb site was where they struggled a lot during the first half, and where OpTic found a lot of their rounds. On the T side, I think that was more, down to the fact that Elige and JDM was just able to find openings and openings and openings every single time for Liquid. So you never really saw OpTic playing 5v5 for the better part of that CT half.
I mean, we saw Twist put together an impressive 90 ADR across that map, but I mean, I think where they shone was on the CT side. I think a Liquid CT side was, far more in their favor, so to say.
Well, I mean, it was better than OpTic's, because OpTic definitely had massive issues dealing with the rotations on their CT sides compared to what Liquid did. But I think also a lot of the issues that Liquid had on their CT side was simply just not being able to hit their shots a lot of the time. You saw some awkward situation where Stanislaw was out by Birdwalk, and just not being able to shoot a Tarek coming rushing through a smoke. Like, you've got the favorable angle, you've got the favorable, everything, right? You know, and you're still not able to convert that into a kill. So that was just, you know, I guess Liquid warming up in that sense. But yeah, I still wouldn't, you know, put a pin on, you know, their CT side being strong by any means, simply because they have a fairly new lineup, and it still shows that they have a lot to work on. Well, let's shift over to the OpTic side. Let's take a look now at round number 6. NAF really does lock it down here. Walk us through it. Yeah, so this is one of the, early rounds, obviously, in the first half. And here you're just going to see some extremely solid individual play. Again, this is one of the issues they had on upper a lot of the time. NAF is just allowed to jump out of doors, out of window, and find an opening pick initially. And amidst all the chaos, able to find 3 frags, and eventually just leaves them alone in a 1v1 situation here versus Elige. And you can see initially, after getting that first frag, Fake's going towards Vent, and the Vents have already been shot up because Twitch rotated through that part. So Elige doesn't really have any sound cues to go off of. Normally, when you hear a Vent shot, you would expect, okay, that's only the first one, so you don't have to rotate down. You have to wait for that second Vent to pop, etc. But because all the Vents are broken already, he can, he assumes that NAF has already gone down to plant the bomb. So it's just like a very cool, very smart way of playing that 1v1 from NAF. NAF's point of view, picking out the death cam and so on, and planning upper, and eventually getting that ace. So, coming back to Liquid's T side, though, I mean, obviously they didn't do so hot the first half. Yeah, but T side is solid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, their T side, they brought it back, and we actually had a game on our hands. Yeah, and it didn't look good either because they lost pistol, so they brought it back from the brink of destruction, right? And I think Sam was, on point really with saying, but the way they went about it was much more sustainable than how OpTic were winning rounds on their T side, and it's in large part due to the fact that they were able to create rotations from OpTic's side early on by using smokes, basically showing themselves, showing their cards on multiple places on the map. So OpTic are in a place where they don't actually get any concrete information as to what's going on, so they have to spread themselves thin, and that's something that a good team like Liquid should be able to take advantage of. All right, well, we're gonna go to a quick break. When we come back, we've got one more huge matchup here between OpTic and Liquid, very important for Liquid. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.